Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm talking to an old college friend of mine and a former bandmate, Christian Winstanley. Christian is the founder of Bear Bar Soap. This is an episode full of tactical information for online brands and e-commerce. So if you have or are interested in starting an e-com business, then this is going to be a great resource for you. We chat about how Christian manages his business from anywhere in the world, the importance of building relationships with suppliers, tips on choosing an e-commerce platform, including why Shopify might not be the best option to start with. We also talk about the nuts and bolts on trademarking a brand, something which I had not considered. Christian's thoughts on video advertising and the need to carve out a voice in a competitive market. I hope you enjoy this somewhat wide-ranging conversation, but centered around what it takes to build a business that you're proud of from someone who's actually doing it. I hope you take just as much from this as what I have. Christian, welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much
for having me, Jason.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Pleasure to see you, albeit digitally. Talk to me about work-life balance.
Yeah, so that's quite a big subject, and it's always, as you'll probably know, and maybe a few people listening will know as well, that it's constantly an ongoing battle. You know what I mean? It's part of human nature, possibly never to be really satisfied, and I think that transgresses into managing your work-life balance to achieve what you want to achieve. But I think the main things for me with that, and obviously we're going to be talking about how I started my business and why I'm self-employed now. A lot to do with the origins of that was from work-life balance, because I was doing a sales job, shirt and tie, nice car and all that lot, and thought that this sort of workload was suitable, and it was, to be fair. And I think, like many people, what they'll say, obviously over the past few years, I know we've heard it 1,000 times, but COVID was a huge thing, and obviously working in an office, we got told to work from home, work remotely, and that really just switched my mentality to a different type of working. And I think, it's the culture is slowly changing to be more conscious about people and the work-life balance, and obviously commuting to work and how much time that wastes. And that comes down to efficiency. And I looked at my efficiency and what I was doing in work and thinking how much bloody time that I actually waste doing, whether it's commuting, whether it's doing menial tasks that I don't need to be there and present with. It's just a big old waste of time. So that started the ball rolling and really looking at my actual work-life balance and seriously considering it, and making some changes. But obviously saying that, obviously we're going to talk about my business, and my business was a side hustle for 18 months, and obviously that only added to my workload. So really, even though I was trying to get away from it, I was also putting myself under immense pressure, not having the correct work-life balance. But having got through, navigated that period, which was incredibly difficult for all sorts of personal reasons and everything like that, managed to work hard enough and put up with it long enough to actually come to a place and a space where I'm now comfortable, happy, I'm in control of what I do and what I don't do in terms of work, and the amount of work that I do. And that's obviously, when I'm talking to a business, some of the systems that I've put in place completely represent my ambition to kind of work smarter, really. And that's kind of like, without me thinking it, it's naturally driven me to make certain decisions with regards to how my business operates, what we do and what we don't do, and what we take on, what physical tasks we take on and what we don't, what we outsource. So yeah, work-life balance is a huge driver into where I'm at right now. But it's never a finished business. It's never, some people might do. some people might get satisfied quite easily, but you're always tweaking something, no matter what it is.
I think the thing that drives you to be an entrepreneur in the first place is also the thing that stops you from putting the brakes on.
Yeah, definitely.
From what I can sort of see, it's like, yeah, it's two sides of like the same coin. What's your work-life balance like now? Like, how many hours are you working a week? Be honest with me.
It could absolutely fluctuate, Jason. It could be. It depends what I've got on. You know what I mean? And it depends. Like, I'm always thinking ahead, and I'm always thinking we need to do this and we need to do this. And the only way that I can do that is by completely compartmentalizing things. Completely, okay, I need to do work on the website. That is in a box. It's there. We need to launch our TikTok shop this week. That's going to take X amount of hours. So it depends what I've got on. And usually there's always 3 or 4 big projects knocking about. But at the same time, I could be a total lazy bastard and just literally just like, like last week, I think probably worked maybe about 20 hours, 15 to 20 hours. But this week, I did an 18-hour day yesterday. You know what I mean? So it completely up and down to what needs to be done at that particular time. And I think that really works for me because I'm not shy of hard work. I'm not programmed to put my feet up all the time because I don't believe you'll reach your goals and ambitions if you do that. But at the same time, you don't need to. If you work it correctly, you shouldn't need to work every hour God sends to achieve what you want to achieve. So yeah, it fluctuates, Jason, and I think that's probably just the life of an entrepreneur in general. Even though I've not really researched and looked into the life of an entrepreneurial, but I think it's kind of like it just things naturally fall into place. Yeah, there's no Bible, there's no book on how to be an entrepreneur. It's just you act when you need to act, do when you need to do, and don't do when you feel like you don't need to do. As much as a mouthful as that sounds, but that's the way I look at it anyway.
Interesting that you mentioned there isn't a book, because one of the questions I had for you was, have you ever read The 4-Hour Workweek?
Yeah, it's actually, I remember we had a call, and
Did we talk about
I think
it?
we might have been in the corner. I'm sure we did. Yeah, I'm sure we did. And I've got a confession to make, Jason, man. I've the last books I've read, I think were bloody Goosebumps in school, man. You know what I mean? Like
Mate, I
literally,
didn't even read
I look
them.
at people. Do you not?
So
highly recommend it, mate.
No, I had them all. I had them all. I just pretended that I read them, but I couldn't read.
Oh no!
So
that's
every podcast I've done, I've brought up my dyslexia. So obviously we were at college together. For anyone that doesn't know, and I went on to university, and I went from like probably top in Kendall, top of the class probably, to bottom, the only person who failed in my uni year. And then I got tested.
You failed the first year.
Yeah, did you?
So did I.
Have you ever been? Have you ever had a diagnosis for dyslexia or ADHD?
I've not, fortunately not, but I've got friends that have, and obviously you yourself, which I wasn't aware of until now. But yeah, the trials and tribulations and the stigma around it is difficult. I can only imagine.
Fuck it, it's fine. Like, knowing about it just made total sense. So it was just when you were talking about the Goosebumps, not reading a book since Goosebumps, and I always used to use this example whereby, like, I had all these books growing up and stuff. I got, oh yeah, there's me Goosebumps collection. No idea what happened because I couldn't read. Like, I could read, but so long story short, I read my first ever book when I was 21, Gerard's autobiography. But finding out as a dyslexic just like was a massive game changer. Like it made me understand, oh, that's why. Like that's why I feel like thick but not.
Yeah, 100%. I bet it was a complete like the classic light bulb moment where it feel life and just really wow, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've talked on the podcast about the importance of like audiobooks and podcasts to have like completely transformed my life like in the last like 5-6 years, because all of a sudden knowledge has become more available to me, rather than it being limited through words on paper.
Yeah.
But we're talking about 4-Hour Work Week, but you said you had it on your shelf, but you haven't actually read it.
Yeah, no, I've got a few books like that, Jason, as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is completely correct. Yeah, I think I've read the back of it, maybe the first page, and then it's just kind of like I'm sat there reading a book, everything's quiet, and I'm just like I just start twitching. I just can't do it. I'm just like, you know what I mean? And whether it's a short attention span, I'm not quite sure, but I'm quite chilled, so I should be all right. But,
that's exactly what it is.
I just don't. Yeah, probably it is. Let's ever self-diagnose.
Yeah.
But yes, it's yeah. So no, I've not. I'm very lazy with that. I know some people have got a real thirst for knowledge, and honestly, I'm really jealous of that and envious of that. And it's the same with other things like culture and stuff like that. Like, you know, I definitely need to travel more and stuff like that. I know you're well traveled, Jason, but it's something that, like, yeah, I think about it. I really want to do. But then it's just like, do I really need to or want to? You know what I mean? Do I really?
Traveling or reading? You know what I mean? Or both?
Probably both. Like, 'cause I think it's that wanting to find out something. Yeah. But I don't know whether that's like, I'm not a sort of bullish type of person where I think what I think's right and no one else can tell me different. I'm really open to change my mind on anything, and open-minded. But I suppose there is a kind of, I could probably get a lot further if I did, to be fair. But for some reason, I just can't make that switch to wanting to do it and being asked to do it.
See, mate, like I look at this and I'm jealous of your ability to ignore all the books and shit. As much as I love all that, but I spend a lot of time like doing mental masturbation, like listening to books, thinking about ideas, writing notes about business ideas, and I'm like thinking of all these things. Yeah. And then, okay, yes, right now we are doing a podcast, and I'm proud of that. But doing the thing, sometimes I just don't do the thing. And I've started businesses and stuff, and yeah. But I think sometimes I'm like high in, what's the word? Conscientiousness. And sometimes that can hold me back. And like, I need someone to kick me up the ass sometimes, who just to like, right, let's just fucking do it. Like action. And from what I know about you and your business is like, you're kind of the other side of that, whereby you can just go, right, let's just do it. Like, let's just put things into place. Let's test. Would that be a fair assessment?
I think so, yeah. And I think it's like, and, you know, I appreciate you saying that, because I know that maybe, and I was going to talk about this as well, because obviously, like, you know, starting your business and stuff like that, it's like, it depends who you are, like, and what you want to achieve, you know what I mean? And I do feel fortunate, Jason, where I can, like, almost a little bit like a magpie, but have a real keen, instant eye to what I think can work and what can't work. Whether that's proves ultimate correct, you know, through practice is a different story, because I get things wrong just like everyone else gets things wrong. But, you know, with this business specifically, I did see an opportunity, and drove at it like literally like a wasp to jam, like a hawk to a mouse. I was just like, this is it. This, you know what I mean? And what do I need to do this? Like I said, we'll get into the business, but it was completely like bootstrapped. I didn't have any money, you know what I mean? But you make things happen. And it's like, you know, I'm not very close to my dad, but what my dad's always told me is like, there's no problems, Christian. There's always solutions. And no matter how impossible something seems or how difficult something seems, there's always a way. Always, like 100%, there's always a way. And I think that kind of mentality helps to make that drive and problem solve and go, actually, I believe in this idea. There is a problem in the road, and we might get into some problems today that I've had, and I've had many. But with that strong mentality it gives me the edge to see ideas. And I do feel lucky, Jason, to have that ability.
That's awesome.
But it's not foolproof at all.
Yeah, but I think that conviction, like the one thing that the thing that you have in common with like Kai, who we were in a band together and I had on the podcast last week, is we had a similar conversation whereby he would say he just goes. He's like, he sees an idea and he runs with it. And he's like, and we do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. And it's like, because there's that conviction, which 50% of the time could be delusion, but you're deluding yourself with a positive mindset. So most of the time, some of the time, maybe not all the time or whatever, it might work. And yeah, I think that's awesome. Like, and I wish I had a bit more of that, like that kind of, I don't know if I've lost it in recent years because I've had a few of my businesses sort of fail. So like you get a bit scared, you know?
Yeah. But you know, Jason, and like the fact is you've bloody done it. You know what I mean? And that's the main bloody thing, is that if you took the steps and put your foot out the bath and actually done something that you wanted to do. And God, you might have 2 more failed businesses, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I know you're saying that you don't, but probably you do, you know, and they definitely have that drive and that passion. Because I saw, obviously, you know, with your venue, the heart, soul, passion, drive that I saw in your output on social media. I know, unfortunately, never went for a drink because it's a bit away from me, but it was palpable. It was absolutely palpable, man. And I loved watching it from afar, and it looked really cool. And I know for a fact that it was all, well, from what I saw anyway, a vast majority of that was you. You know what I mean? So that energy, passion, drive you've got. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I feel like it now seems like I'm looking for validation now, but
no, completely, man. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass either, man. I tell you straight, but I know for a fact that if you have that same drive and passion for another project in the right area at the right time, God knows, man. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't worry about it if I were you, without a doubt.
Yeah, well, I'll keep like I said, this is my main project at the moment, and I'm loving it. So, you know, I think, you know, one of the things I'm trying to do as well is kind of do spread myself less thin, because, you know, no matter how many Notion like systems I put in place, or Todoist projects and GTD and all these like productivity frameworks, I think your brain only has so much for so many projects. Certainly when you've not got, like, certainly when like all these projects are at this level, I think you need to get projects to like there, and then okay, maybe start on this one. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about like splitting your time up? You mentioned, you know, like you've got, you know, maybe you've got your website to do, or you've got your TikTok shop to launch. How do you divvy that time up? Like, what have you found to be the most effective way to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking, you know, you're saying a few, they're not anagrams, what are they? Those like shortened letters for words, what is it?
Yeah, you've lost me now. If you hadn't have said,
you know
what's
what I mean?
that word?
But it's like,
yeah.
But it's like, you know, those kind of like practices and sort of training and stuff like that. Again, it's like similar to researching books and stuff like that. I don't pay attention to that, and only work how I know how to work and naturally how I prefer to work, which is always. I've always worked in obviously working in sales and stuff, and working in the electrical wholesale business and stuff like that. It was very fast paced. You've got a fire there, 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 someone screaming at you there, and you just got to tackle first things first. And I'd probably say, obviously, the classic thing, prioritizing it is the one. You know what I mean? And maybe prioritizing. You might have an issue there, but can that issue last for a bit while I concentrate on something for the future as well? You know what I mean? So I can actually say no to something that's actually going to be damaging for the sake of something that I know is going to do me better in the future. So it's kind of like just weighing up which one's which.
And so if you develop that yourself rather than reading that in a book, is that what you're saying? That way of working?
100%, yeah. It's
that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's just something that's yeah.
Because
so it's always been natural with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I've had some of the books and stuff I've read, and I'm trying to think which book it is that basically it talks about like splitting your time up or whatever, and how what happens is you get an urgent task, like you say, that could be like a fire, shall we say, not an actual fire, a metaphorical fire, but you're like, well, but right now I'm planning my marketing strategy for the next 3 months. It's not urgent, but it's really important. And it sounds to me like you're able to pick that and go, well, no, I'm going to do the important thing, not the urgent thing. And like that's a thing that does get brought up in a lot of these areas as a thing to do, and it's not a natural thing. Like it's so hard to, because we're always trying to do the urgent thing, not the important thing.
Yeah, I think we're as humans, that's what we're programmed to do, isn't it? Like that's why we use the metaphor fire. You know what I mean? Because it's an instinctive thing. If something's on fire, it's an emergency, and humans react to the short-term emergency rather than long-term benefits usually.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. So, just tell people listening the story on why you started Bear Bar and how it all came about.
Yeah, so it was literally sort of winter 2021, and I think it was January, and it was just literally just like it started with a shower, like of course it did. So I had a shower one afternoon, and then all of a sudden I felt like my skin just being really dry, and then I was just like, this is kind of like, I've been having like itchy skin after a shower for blooming ages, for as long as I can remember, and I was like sick of having to slap on a bit of moisturiser and stuff like that. It's like, what actually is going on with my skin? Like, is it the weather? Is it the, and stuff like that? So I started going through it, and it was just like, well, I was still using Link shower gel. So I was kind of like instantly thought, well, maybe it's something that I'm dousing on my body every single day. Like maybe that could be the problem that's affecting my skin so much. So after a little bit of research, I sort of looked into the chemicals and ingredients that, for example, Lynx or Nivea for men might use in the shower gel. And after a bit of research, it came out that, the reason they're so cheap and the reason that shower gel is like £1 a bottle is because these are completely man-made compounds and surfactants, for a liquid to foam into a soap. That takes a lot of chemical reaction to do with unnatural compounds and man-made compounds. And then obviously add to that, really, I mean, we all love the scent of Lynx Africa, but at the end of the day, the reason it's so potent is because it is a completely man-made fragrance with no natural derivatives or anything like that. And it's with the use of like parabens, for example, they almost open up the skin and help fragrance sink into your skin. So after your shower, that's, after using a strong shower gel, you'll be smelling that for quite a long time. You know what I mean? And then knowing that, so I looked into the side effects, and then it obviously doing research, like these harsh chemicals are drying, they don't moisturize, they don't exfoliate. It's very much just almost like a washing up liquid for your body, essentially. So I was right, okay, that could be the problem. So I kind of like did research on Google, trying to find what could substitute. What do other people use rather than shower gel? Do you use like a more expensive shower gel, like 20 quid a bottle? Does that stop it? Looking at some ingredients of expensive ones, they've still got the same ingredients in the cheap ones as well. So it was confusing. So I went to look at other things, and obviously eventually stumbled across soap. And I thought, like, oh, classic soap bar, that's a bit old school. That'll be a bit of a change in habit and a change of lifestyle. So I was kind of interested by it in general. And saw that natural soap could really help. And I looked at the ingredients list, and like I can actually read stuff. So coconut oil, olive oil, sustainable palm oil, castor oil, these things I could read and actually know what they are.
Did you say
a jar of coconut oil before.
I thought you said castrol.
Castrol. That'll sort you right out, Jason, after a shower, that, mate.
A bit partridge, that, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I'll
did you say
yeah, with that jacket. Castor. I think castor sugar.
Castor oil. Wow.
But, yeah.
I told you it'd make me laugh.
A foot like a traction engine.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Continue.
No, it's fine, man. No, it's all good. The origin story is quite a rambling story, so I apologise anyway. So it's nice to break up with your laugh, to be fair. But so I was looking, okay, like, I know this stuff. This is like moisturising. That's like, again, moisturising. I know what these things do. So when I came to order it on Google, I think I spent about 40 quid and ordered some soap, and it took about 2.5 weeks to come. And I realised that it's actually from a French company that are importing it to the UK. So when I got it, I was like, well, that took ages. And then I opened it up, and then what I thought, I read the sort of scent profiles, and what I thought would appeal to me, being just a general bloke, they smelt like grandma, cheap perfume, really just not stuff that you want to shower with as a bloke, you know what I mean? So I used it, and then I was just like, it was just a bit crap, really. My skin was still dry, then looked into their ingredients, and they weren't completely natural. So there's a lot of misinformation about ingredients and stuff like that. So I felt really just put out by it, like, But then also, that's when the light bulb moment happened, is because it shouldn't be this fucking hard. Yeah. It just shouldn't be this fucking hard for a normal bloke who's savvy on Google, knows how to search stuff, to actually find something that, yes, appeals to me, and yes, this is actually natural, and it's actually good for your skin. So it was just like, like there's a market there. And I have never put myself down as entrepreneurial. Like, throughout my life, I wasn't the type of kid to sell cigarettes in the playground. I weren't selling sweets on the side or something like that. I've never been really entrepreneurial like that. But I've always wanted to be in control of, some people might say I've been difficult to manage in the past because I want to manage. You know what I mean? It's that kind of like, I want to be the person. You know what I mean? So
what, the guy that recently put in a mohawk is rebellious?
What's that? Sorry.
I said I'm talking to the guy who recently posted a picture of a mohawk, and I said, and you're saying that you're rebellious. I was like, it probably maps. Do you know what I mean? That authority thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Without a doubt. But so it got me to thinking, right, okay. There's I looked at sort of soap in general, and there was a thing called cold processed soap, which seen really a cool way of making soap. Like you don't heat anything. So it's environmentally really friendly. Like there's no big industrial needed. You don't need a big soap mixer and pour and stuff like that. It's like something that you can do in your kitchen. So I was like, okay, that's like, it could potentially be an easy bowl roll of this. So I ordered spent about 250 quid, like ordered some like mixing stuff and the ingredients and stuff from a website in the UK. And wanted to make like a charcoal soap that smelt a bit wild. So like put some pine in there and some patchouli, some little essential oils. Did it. Made an absolute fucking mess in the kitchen, mate. Honestly, I had a stick blender in this thick, like almost like a curd type thing. It's just literally splashing all over the walls, man. I'm still trying to repaint as we speak. It's just soaked in. You know what I mean? So I was like, did it, and I was like, God, what a pain in the ass this is. Imagine having to do this every time. And then actually made it, and then it was just really just like, it just weren't right, man. It had like air bubbles like all the way through it, so it just like crumbled apart in the shower, and it didn't really smell that good either. So I was like, it's going to take me years to perfect this, you know what I mean? So I quickly realized that, hang on a minute, like maybe there's people out there who already make fantastic soap, like who maybe have spent a few years doing this and perfecting it. So again, did a little research and stumbled across a company, but a really small company, and got in touch with them. I think they were making it in their kitchen, and got in touch with them and just said, look, I've got this idea. Seems a little bit left field and stuff like that, but I think it can work. Because I wanted to make it around, scents that would appeal to men. And the vast majority of the soap market, the 99% of it in the UK, was for females, or no one at all, everyone in between. But nothing really specifically said that this is for blokes. So I came to her with the sort of the concept and the idea, and she was really interested and like really wanted to discover more, and she felt quite flattered that I'd even got in touch, to be fair. So I tried, obviously, throughout this period, this was over a sort of month period, and throughout that period I tried so much soap, man. I ordered stuff from everywhere in the UK, stuff from Europe and stuff like that, just like really just like trying to get my head around what is good soap and what is bad soap. And then having ordered some of hers, I tried it and I was like, man, this is the best soap I've ever tried. The lather, the feeling on your skin after it, the fact that I don't have to use moisturizer anymore after a shower. It's like that feeling when you take a shower, you dry off and you put some clothes on and your skin just feels incredible and you feel ultra clean. And it's environmentally friendly, it's good for you. So it's got so much appeal. So she really hit the marks on that. So I came to her with like a sort of a concept range, and sort of developed 4 scents initially, and then sort of the rest is history with that. And then obviously, February the 2nd, I think 2021. That's when I registered Bear Bar, got the trademark sorted out straight away, and then began to sort of build the brand from there, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I remember it, because I'm fairly certain, like I've been a customer since the beginning, more or less.
You've been there.
I've been there, bro.
You've been there.
And I mean, I can we'll have to see if we can get a cheeky little discount code from you for the show notes. But we the product is fucking awesome, man. Like, and I think obviously we get used to things in life, don't we, being a certain way, or we get used to the new normal. So for example, and what I mean by this is not just like when I first tried Bear Bar soaps and exactly the same as you, like I'm like, wow, I don't need to moisturize after, I feel great, like, and all the rest of it. When I don't have it, I really notice it. So if I've got I had a shower like earlier this year at my mum's house, and she had radox. And
Oh
it
dear.
sounds so
Good
fucking like middle class, doesn't it? But like, because it's it's obviously it's not cheap to look after yourself and have good products and stuff. But like and I remember putting this radox on, and I was like, it feels like bleach. Like honestly, and like you say, fairy liquid is a great analogy. Like it does feel like that. It's mental.
Yeah.
And it's like so many things in life. Like I've been on the last 3 years, funnily enough, which kind of tracks your business life really. Since then, I've been on this journey of like self-discovery and self-improvement and like holistic stuff and subtracting toxins, whether that be alcohol or drugs or deodorant or whatever it may be, and like smoking, vaping, all that stuff like is just not a part of my life anymore. And I feel you feel weird because everyone else is kind of like even like in the changing rooms and someone's spraying deodorant next to me and I'm like this and I'm like
Yeah.
you start to realize you're like we're surrounded by like all these toxins and like non-natural things that are entering our lungs and stuff. And and how many times do we hear someone saying, well, matey boy, he used to keep himself fit and everything, and and he just dropped dead, or he got cancer, or whatever. And it's like, and I'm not saying that might be just down to the soap you use or whatever, but it's like, what are the pollutants in the environment? What are the things?
Yeah.
There's a guy called who's on that Zac Efron program, Daryl Olean or something. And he says he calls them fatal conveniences, and it's a really good way of thinking of it. Like, what's convenient in your life that, as it builds up over time and compounds, could prove fatal? And anything, soap, deodorant, all that sort of stuff, and obviously alcohol and drugs are even bigger, but we are surrounded by it. So that was me going off on a tangent saying that you should try Bear Bar because it's awesome, and the scents are getting better, man. Like, which is the one with Smashing Pumpkin. Like, oh my god, yeah, like that's awesome. Anyway, so we won't go too much into me blowing soap up your ass, but
No, but what you just said there in that in your thoughts there, I completely agree with, man. And it's something that I've always been like conscious about the environment, not in like a I said before that I weren't interested in stuff in terms of reading books and researching, but to be fair, when I was younger, I was totally into wildlife completely. Like growing, this is going to sound really Silence of the Lambsy, but growing like caterpillars into chrysalis, into butterflies and moths. I used to do that in little tanks when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. Absolutely buzzed off it, you know what I mean? And it's something that if I am going to research it, it's going to be about the animal kingdom. It's going to be about the environment, and I've done a lot on researched a lot on climate change. You know what I mean? And that really is always kind of there in the background. And obviously, the reason I'm so happy and content with this brand and Bear Bar is the fact that it's tackling a couple of issues. It's tackling the plastic issue with showering. but it is also tackling, like I say, that sort of toxic buildup of compounds that potentially, fatal over long-term use. So it's tackling some really couple of big things there that are quite close to my heart, and I know it's kind of like it is a shift in paradigm almost when you start using Bear Bar, and it's like when you go back to something like you just said, it feels alien and it feels weird, and you feel uncomfortable because end of the day, it's great on your skin. So, obviously we've got an economic downturn in general, haven't we? You know what I mean? And I think to myself, what is the armor of Bear Bar's business? What's the armory on it? How can it protect itself from this economic downturn? And are people going to buy a £7 bar of soap during this period of time? And I'm like, I believe they will. And I believe because once you get used to something like that, switching back, we're talking pounds difference, talking about, cheap bottle of shower gel for £2. With discount, Bear Bar can be as little as £5 a bar, so there's not a crazy amount of difference in there. But I think people will, once you use the product and get used to the benefits, it'll be hard to go back to something cheaper. And it's like this is not tomato sauce. It's not going from £4 bottle of Heinz to a 30p Lidl tomato sauce. That transition can be quite easy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But if it's something that brings a lot of enjoyment and brings so many physical benefits that you can see, then I don't think people will stop using it because of financial reasons. And that's a good thing. Obviously, it's a good thing from our perspective, but it's a good thing for them as well because, for a few pounds more, you can really stop some damage on your skin and feel better in yourself in general.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I've been like through like probably the toughest financial time of my life, and like for some of the last 3 years, and I've still kept on buying. Like, even like, it's quite expensive, but like, it's just so hard to go back to, and like, and I've always wanted to support you anyways, so I'll just keep getting it. But yeah, it's like 100% worth it.
Yeah.
I want to do like a little bit of a hypothetical exercise now, if you'd be up for it.
Totally, man. All over it.
So a bit of a walkthrough in terms of how we might go about, say you and I are starting up a business in e-com. I'm going to set some sort of parameters to start with. So for instance, it's going to be a non-food product. It's going to be one size. So it's not going to be a clothing brand where you need small, medium, large, extra large, and all the rest of it. How about... All right, it's kind of food, half food, but not. Let's say toothpaste. Right, so you and I are starting a toothpaste brand. And we've got this concept of this natural toothpaste or whatever it may be. And we've got 500 quid. What we're doing first, where are we spending our money, where are we allocating budget to?
Well, I think initially it's like, and I'm glad it's a really good question and a good exercise is this, because I think to start a business, especially with 500 quid, you unfortunately, if anyone's listening and they want to start a business, unfortunately you do need some key skills initially. You need to be able to do things like graphic design. You need to be able to do things like market. You know what I mean? You need to, even writing text fluently, not using AI. It needs to be authentic. It needs to be real. You need to have some really important skills to not spend any money initially. You know what I mean? So I think I'd like to think between me and you, I think we'll probably just about have the skills to pull it off with 500 quid. You know what I mean? But I think initially what you need to do is, okay, you've got the concept of toothpaste, and again, it comes back to the fact that me and you ain't going to make toothpaste in the kitchen. So the first thing you do is look at your supply chain. Look at the manufacturers, who's doing what. If it's natural, then it's specifically natural manufacturer. That needs to happen.
And how would you do that?
Get in touch with them and see actually what. It's just our best friend Google. I'd literally just
so you'd buy a load of toothpaste, different types of toothpaste, buy them in, find out where they're made, and ring them up or email them.
No, I think I'd look. You look at things private label and white label. Manufacturers of cosmetics in the UK is probably what you'd do.
Right. Okay. So there'd be a directory for something like that. Get in touch with
them. You absolutely, yeah. So like you could really, if we want this product to be bespoke, then it have to be a private label. So we'd get in touch with companies that do private label. That means we can tweak ingredients to make ours unique compared to competitors. Get in touch with them. What is the MOQ? Mm-hmm. How many units do we have to order to get this off the ground? We get in touch with a number of companies. Some might be 20,000 units. Some might be, hey, we might even do 100 units just to get you started. And obviously that's the one that we need. So we get in touch with them. Can they... they'll obviously package it there, hopefully. So whether that's tube form or some sort of plastic-free tube. And if we can, between us, have the skills to design and create the brand, design and create the artwork using Photoshop and things like that to a template, then you could probably have products off the ground within a month or two. I'd probably say.
I'm going to throw a curveball in now.
I think toothpaste is probably ambitious. Yeah.
Let's say we are a bit shit at graphic design. Well,
right, yeah.
Because I think I am a little bit like
I'm not the best at all.
I'm okay, but maybe I'm just insecure. But let's say we're not very good at graphic design, and we're just kind of like, okay, here's another thing. Do you think anyone can learn something like that, graphic design? Or do you think some people can see a design and some people can't? Does that make sense?
100%. And again, I know, like, I'm not blowing smoke up my own ass, but again, it's just this is why I found I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing Bear Bar because it gets me to release my creative skills. It gives me such a great outlet to design and create anything that I really want to. But it's different strokes for different folks, man. You know what I mean? That some people might not have the eye for it. Yeah. They don't want to do that. They don't want to sit at a computer all this time, and all the rest of it, and put the hours in that you have to. So, if you don't have the skills, it's not. I'd say, I'm going to contradict myself, but I'd say it's not essential because I do believe that anyone can make anything work. But, if for example, using an AI logo or something like that, that's fair enough. But do bear in mind that it won't be unique. It won't be special. It'll just be a face, an image for your business, just to get it out of the way so you can concentrate on other tasks. But really, I'm going to contradict myself now because I do believe that the presentation of a product, the branding and design is absolutely key. It is the biggest thing that I can tell anyone, because you can sell anything to anyone if it's presented in an awesome way. Like, have you heard of a company called? I think everyone's starting to hear of a company called Liquid Death.
Yeah, Cinnamon Tesco. Very, very, very interesting. I mean, it's not actually that interesting, but just fair enough. Yeah, it seems obvious now. Of course, someone's done a water called Liquid Death.
No, and that to me is just I mean, that is a multi-million pound business now. Wow. I think the turnover between $500 and $700 million a year, and their marketing advertisement is absolutely top fucking notch. But again, mineral water. You've already got Evian, you've already got Volvic, you've already got all these bloody water brands, but they've just gone in there, presented it in such a cool fucking way that people want it.
Yeah.
even though it's just water in a can.
Yeah.
And so no matter what product it is, it's absolutely vital, that face of what it is.
Mm.
So that's why it does need time and dedication, I think. And I think unfortunately, you'll never get a business with and reach the potentials without that in place first. And if I was to start a toothpaste business now, I'd start with the branding first.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you'll be right. I think it's so important, isn't it? Interesting that example you gave, by the way.
And that's not a thing.
Sorry, Christian.
Sorry, Jess. That's not to say that it's the be all. Well, no, it's not. Anyway, you carry on, mate. I went on a
no, it's all right. I think I mean, to be honest, this hypothetical that we've gone down, part of it was to sort of, I wanted to highlight, if you had X amount of budget, how much you're putting into branding and how much you're putting into marketing or advertising. What does that split look like? And interestingly enough, you've kind of said, do it yourself, learn it yourself. How so in some ways you've said actually zero, but then in other ways you've said actually it's the most important thing. So it's almost like everything at the same time.
That's why I said it's contradictory.
Yeah, but that's life, right? Everything's fucking juxtaposed if you look at it. Like, we're going far too philosophical now. Shut up, Jason.
No, you're right. You're right though. It's true.
But like,
it's just life's confusing.
The example you gave there, liquid death, and not to take it on a tangent, but this is something that people should understand when it comes to products, like the psychology of marketing. And like certain products are like intrinsically motivated, and some are more like externally. It's like a state. So liquid death. If you are only going to consume liquid death at home on your own and not put it on Instagram in private, I guarantee no one will be buying it. But it's the sort of thing you could sit, maybe you're on a podcast, maybe you're on the train, whatever, like you're presenting, you're showing your status, like I can afford I'm not drinking tap water, mate. I'm drinking liquid death because I'm like, I'm running against the grain, and I'm this, and there's so much psychology there.
Completely.
And then the bear bar, and I'm trying to think about it for myself. I'm like, it is kind of like, for me, that is a fairly private thing, the shower. Do you know what I mean? But
it's pretty. I'd like to think so, Jay.
But having said that, I've recommended it to a lot of people. Am I doing it for them, or am I doing it to help you, or am I doing it to virtue signal that I like? Oh yeah, I'm into this soap.
Maybe. Yeah, totally. It's definitely the latter.
Yeah,
it's definitely the latter.
A little bit.
It's like, because you're like, it's almost like you want to kind of like. It's just that it's not showing off, because I don't want my customers to think that that's what it's about. There's more to the bear bar's about the product.
Of course it is.
It's about the product, and I'm lucky because the branding is the bloody branding, but at the end of the day, the product is fucking awesome. So that's the tangible thing that everyone's always going to benefit from.
Yes.
Whereas water is just fucking water. Yeah. And when they put that in the bin, what you're left with. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's like a lot of people do it as like a lifestyle thing. Like, oh, look what I've got into. Oh, look what I'm doing now. Type thing. Try this as well. You know what I mean? It's almost trying to, like, you're trying to showcase that you're trying to make yourself not better, but kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm fairly certain. Having said that, I've definitely posted on Instagram and tagged you in it of me like washing next to a river.
Yeah, man, that was
and
an awesome picture and content of that.
That's all about helping you, but it's bullshit. It's status signaling.
Yeah, totally, man.
I've lost the game,
and I love that, and that's the way it should be.
I've lost the game because I've told everyone now, so I've lost the status game.
Yeah. No, he was only joking.
I need to. I just need to turn my heating down, mate. I'm just gonna go and turn my boiler off. One sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries, man. That's absolutely fine.
Right.
All good.
This back office is like, I always have this problem. It's either fucking freezing, 'cause it's like an extension, so it's dead thin. And then, then it just heats up. And then I'm like, oh my God.
Mm. Yeah,
But,
I'm living in like a new build now, and it's really well insulated, which is great for winter. But god damn, this summer, like 37, 38 degrees, like upstairs and stuff, it was just disgusting.
yeah.
I actually did that thing, when you open up a duvet and get a big circulator fan. I actually did that one night.
Open up a duvet and do what?
Yeah, so like you open up, undo the buttons on your duvet or whatever, and lift up the sheet. I've got it was like a 25 quid but big air circulator fan. Put it at the base of the bed, put it on full blast, lift up the sheet, and then the air travels into the duvet cover, lifts it up, so it's like a little, it's like an air tunnel fan cave to sleep in.
Oh, so it kind of feels cozy, but cool.
Yeah,
right.
It's like you're in like a sort of like almost like a bit of an igloo type thing, and then but yeah, it's revolutionary. I'm going to do that again next year.
Have you
this year? Whatever.
I'm surprised you haven't got one of those cooling mattresses like the there's 8 Sleep. There's I don't know. I got one. What's it called? Can't remember. They're not like mega cheap, but they're basically like they sit on top of your mattress, and they basically got like a little bit of water in them, and you can set temperature. Massive game changer. Like if you've got like, I'm pretty sure like the 8 Sleep ones are the best. Like, but I think they're like $2,000, maybe $3,000. But like,
oh fuck! What for a
cooling system
for a thing that goes on your bed?
Absolute game changer though. Like,
my god, it better be amazing.
But
have you got one?
So I got a cheap one, and I got it secondhand off eBay. So it cost me like 500 quid. But like,
look, man, I might have to get four and Jason.
Mate, like, so like being cool at night, like I'm massively into like optimizing my sleep. So like being cool, have the mattresses cool. So like, I still have them cool now, by the way. So when I go to bed, this is like number one hack. I actually open my window up, like I get it as cold as I fucking can in the room, and then I go and I get I have like a really hot bath. And then I get into the cold sheets, and it's got like the cooling system on, and then it's like perfect. So, anyways, we sort of
that's quite
digressed a little bit. Yeah. So
you've looked into that, Jason. That takes some preparation and planning. Is that?
Yeah, and I've got honestly, and I navigate the house with a head torch on red mode so that I don't get the blue light affecting my circadian rhythm.
Shut up! That's insane,
mate.
My God, it makes me feel bad for all those times I've just gone to sleep on the sofa. I feel terrible.
Yeah, but it's one of them. Like it comes along for the ride with like my obsessiveness. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just lean into that now. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, do you know what? That's my superpower. Like being a bit of an addict towards everything. Ice baths, self-improvement, meditation. Give me the chance, and I will get addicted to it.
Fair play, man.
But but now just lean into it. But be weird and get addicted to podcasting, and maybe I'll make a go of this. So let's go back to our toothpaste brand. So where were we at? We're talking about branding, design, minimum order quantities with manufacturers. Do you think, like, if you are savvy and able to negotiate and stuff, do you think you can, like, like pass off that you're like this big company and like, oh, we're just looking for a sample at the moment. We're talking to a few different companies. I've heard some people use those tactics before.
I personally would never do that, and I'm like, because basically, Jay, I'm really fucking shit at lying. Like I'm got such a bad poker face, mate. I just can't even deal with it. You know what I mean? So I'm not like a bullshitter, and I don't think if you're going to build a relationship, it ain't a good footing to start off with. You know what I mean? It just makes it could potentially make you all look like dicks.
Yeah.
So I'd go right from the bat, right from the off, and shoot straight away, and just tell them, be honest, a bit open about this. Well, I think what's important is like really telling them how we're going to get it to market, how we're going to grow the business, what's our angle, how we're going to help develop their business as well. But it's like once you kind of sell them the dream of your brand and what you're going to do with it, that's when you can kind of start to negotiate a little bit. That's when you can say, we are speaking to a couple of other suppliers, but we really like what you're doing and your ethics and the quality of product. But we just need a little bit of helping hands just to get us off the ground. But I'm sure once we get to a certain point, I mean, you could even say, well, I don't like making guarantees because nothing's a guarantee. But you could say, look, project and forecast. We could look to be selling this amount of units after 6 months and grow it organically. So I think the real power of honest negotiation, I think, can sometimes rule the day.
Mate, that's awesome. I love it. It's really refreshing because, like I say, like being someone who consumes a lot of this sort of like how-to media and stuff, a lot of the thing is, you want to speak to the suppliers, you want to, send them a letter that looks like it's come from the procurement manager or whatever, because they're not going to listen to you. And that there is an argument for that, because some people might just say, I'm not interested. We already do work with, I don't know, whatever big brands. But I suppose what you're saying, it's like a quality over quantity approach. And you say like, this is me, I'm Christian, this is my plan. It's a bit of a risk maybe, but like, can you help me out? Like invest in me. Do you know what I mean? So, and although that might be harder to start with, like you say, it's clearly going to work better for the future because they've already bought into the idea of it and they're sort of invested.
Yeah, I think, definitely. I think it's obviously when Bear Bar started, I had to do a lot of that, and the reason I've got my sort of supply chain now, and it's the same supply chain that I've had since I've started. You know what I mean? For example, the cardboard boxes that we use. We use hundreds of thousands a year of these cardboard boxes printed. You know what I mean? And I ordered some from Alibaba and stuff like that in China, and it came wrong and all the rest of it. I had to file a claim against PayPal for PayPal to them and all the rest of it to get my money back. So I was like, okay, I just want to use UK suppliers just to make sure this works. And got in touch with all sorts of printing companies. Some were like, no, you need to order 50,000 to start with and stuff like that. I was like, sorry, we can't do that. But certainly in the future, we'll get in touch if we can get there. But I've sort of like grown my supply chain organically. The people who wanted to deal with me and show that sort of good, wholesome business relationship development has reaped benefits for me and reaped benefits for them. Because now that supplier that said yes to me for 3,000 boxes back in the day is now saying yes to 100,000 boxes orders. You know what I mean? Over 2.5 years. And I love that so much more than going in big with a supplier and throwing your weight about, we can do this, we can do that. No, I prefer it the other way around, definitely.
That's awesome.
Helps them, helps you, helps the community. helps everything.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like you and I are a little bit similar. And, you know, I made my way through sales really after university and stuff, and giving up on the music dream. And my approach to sales has always been like, it's not been the typical salesman who's just looking to upsell you on a load of shit so that you can get a nice little bonus before Christmas. Like, I've always been like, I'm the same as you. It's like, I can't bullshit. Like, I can't lie.
Yeah, conscientious.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, here is the product. This is what I think. You make the decision. And like, and I can help you. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you've got like that authenticity. And just over the years, that's always been the thing that's helped me, like with relationships and stuff, because people say, I want to speak to Jason because I trust Jason, you know, like, oh, Jason will sort it, like, you know, because I've always been that way. And I think, you know, in business and in life, you know, maybe maybe sometimes I've been naive, because the other side of that is I also see the best in people. And sometimes I wonder if that's affected me in my businesses, you know, like I'm too trustworthy sometimes. I'm actually not the best at hiring.
Yeah.
No. I see the best in people.
I think. Well, I think with you, Jason, I think like when I got taught in sales, I got taught about having to, within sort of 10 seconds, 15 seconds, be able to read what type of person that is. So you've got a number of different types of people. You know, you've got analytical. These people are driven by facts and figures. So they want to know, like in the electrical wholesale industry, you know, say if I'm selling them a light fitting, they'll want to know the lumen per watt efficiency, what energy it draws, what is the warranty, what's the lifetime of the product, and things like that. Know all the details. That's that type of people. But you've also got the opposite end of the spectrum, which is expressional. So those people are really easy to sell to, because all they want to know is that this thing works.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're the people that will buy off instinct and emotion without really looking into the things, you know, the technical things. They just want to know it's going to do the job. Love it. Brilliant. Thank you. And I think you probably are that type of person. I think you're emotional, expressional, got a lot of personality and stuff. And I think that leads you to always not be skeptical, and especially with people. You know what I mean? So I can imagine that, yes, you do want to see the best in people. And
if any sales rep is listening to this, they'd probably think, nah, he was a bit of a bastard to deal with. Do you know, this is turned into some sort of weird therapy session, but no, I was just thinking about it then. I do see the best in people, but I think when it comes to products, I do think actually my analytics side comes out. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to see the numbers, blah, blah, blah. And I can be a bit cold. Like, I'm always nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, going off a tangent now, but one of my old bosses said to me, so is this there's a salesman that's it, sorry, there's a guy in the trenches in like World War One or something like this, and he's hunkered down and he's fighting fucking Germans or whoever it is, and he's like, and then there's this guy behind him in a suit and a briefcase knocking on like this door and just going, can I have a couple of minutes of your time? And he's like, fuck's sake, like, I'm fighting a war here. It was like, and there's a fucking salesman like at my door, and he's like, just piss off, mate. Like, you know, and he's like, anyway, so the guy goes away, and then, but the thing of the story is the salesman had a submachine gun in his briefcase, and
right. So it would have, it would have.
Yeah, it's like the moral of this was always like, always treat suppliers like with a bit of respect, even if you're busy. because you don't know what they could offer
Oh
you.
yeah, no, 100%.
Um,
100%. When I was managing, I managed my own branch of electrical wholesaler, and the amount of times that I saw like other managers go, if you haven't made an appointment, it can't come in, all the rest of it. And I, like you've just said, like I was like that. Every person should be listened to because you just don't know when the next benefit or solution is around the corner. So no, I totally agree with that, man. Definitely.
It's just life in
and like on the with relating back to Bear Bar and into that sort of seeing the best in things, but also becoming skeptical, because I'm quite similar to you, Jason, in terms of like, I do see the best in people and always treat people like, always think that people are going to do for me what I do for them type of thing, but we know that's not always the case. And I think with Bear Bar, it's been such a crazy, difficult journey because I've trusted companies that I haven't really done my research on. I haven't really properly looked into things with enough detail, and I've been stung quite a few times. And it's from going for that kind of like, yeah, love that, let's do that, rather into, like you just said, into more of a kind of skeptical, more, I need to look into the details of this to make sure this works. And that comes from, I think, from past experiences of maybe being burned in situations, and it makes you develop.
Yeah, that's such a challenge, isn't it? And I mean, how have you managed that in terms of, like, do you try and do like face-to-face meetings? Funnily enough, I was listening to something and they were saying about like, body language. You might have looked into this yourself. Like, people's body language gives away a lot of what they're doing. I'm not scratching my face, by the way. I was putting my earbud back in because that's another giveaway. Like, I'm not lying.
I'm going to say that's one of the
I'm
things.
not lying.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And but one of the things you can pay attention to is like people's eyes. So like, if their pupils are narrow, they're like more likely to be like narcissistic or like wanting something from you. Whereas if they're open, if the pupils are open, like they're literally open to experience, they're relaxed, like, and it's like potentially a way that you can trust someone. So anyways, but yeah, talk to me about that. Like, how have you met people how have you managed that going forward?
Well, amazingly, I haven't really, because at the end of the day, like, this business and this business model, which I haven't really got into, but it's kind of like, I started it because I wanted to operate a business remotely. I wanted it to be completely, I did have that vision of, laptop, beach, or city break, being able to run my business from somewhere else. That is just like the dream, isn't it? And to be fair, as it stands right now, Bear Bar, next financial year, if everything goes to plan, we should be doing 7 figures. But it's that we can do that with still just one only employee, and that's myself. You know what I mean? And it's that remoteness is also reflecting on the supply chain as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, the be all and end all, my supplier, I've got a very good relationship with, and I'm around there a couple of times a week. But for example, my big packaging supplier, Sushal, it's called, absolutely love him. Similar age to us, got his own business, and we've only spoken on the phone, but very candidly and stuff like that, and built up a good relationship like that. And same with my other supply chains, even my distribution centre. I went down there for a face-to-face visit in Northampton, where all the stock is held, and built up a good relationship just on one visit. But then after that, it's emails, and again, I think it comes back to that COVID thing. I think the remoteness, people are creating relationships where it doesn't have to be face-to-face anymore. And to be fair, from my experience, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't need to be face-to-face to build up fantastic relationships, I don't think.
No, that makes sense. I suppose it's relying on that intuition as well, trying to listen to the gut. If there's something that you picked up from that person. Like if it's 10% of your gut going, oh, you sounded a bit, you should probably listen to that. And that's something I'm trying to do more. Like listen to that little voice.
Yeah. It's difficult. I mean, that is such a skill, Jason, isn't it? And that, because that could also deny you from opportunity as well if it's not managed in the correct way.
Yeah, exactly. But then also, and then the other side of it is that little 10% could be going, start a soap company. So you got to listen to that voice. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So so we keep going off on tangents, and it's my fault. So let's go back to our little toothpaste company. So we're.
Forgot
we were talking about supply chain. Let's say we've agreed to get our first order in of 100 tubes or something, and we're happy with the product. We've brushed our teeth with it every few days, and we're not dead. What's the first step? Obviously, Shopify seems like it's the best option for e-com these days. It's just ready out of the box, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
mind you, this looks like you're gonna.
I think obviously
you're gonna throw me a curveball here now.
Well, I mean, there is options. I mean, like this is interesting. I mean, I went straight for Shopify because I wanted that whole big website thing. Wanted the really cool website that I can be really proud of. But really, if you got a really snappy TikTok video, for example, you could just put the shop on TikTok only to start off with.
I must confess,
without having a website.
I didn't even know TikTok shops was a thing. I don't have TikTok. As a digital marketer, I should probably know a bit more about it.
You're not missing out on too much, Jason.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So TikTok shops, interesting, right? Yeah. So that's a real good high leverage, easy thing just to go. Okay, right. Yeah, let's make some interesting content and do it on there.
I think so, yeah, because end of the day, you don't have to spend all that bloody time investing, and it does cost a bit of money per month to have that facility as well, Shopify. And obviously when you including apps in there as well, there's more fees per month as well. So I think to really protect the overhead initially, then you could just do that. And then let's face it, because if you go onto a website that's sort of half cooked, it puts people off. Whereas a TikTok shop looks like more or less every other TikTok shop. So you can almost look as big as you want to be and all the rest of it. You can have the same design as a multi-million-pound company within TikTok shop.
What about
from an outsider looking in?
Sorry, mate. What's the reviews situation there? Like, what are the specifics on TikTok shops? Presumably you'll have to build up some product reviews because you couldn't just start up
Yeah, there's certain sort of parameters to get. It's kind of like Amazon. In fact, it's very similar. But TikTok is like so much easier to do and start than Amazon is. Amazon's a minefield. But yeah, it's just like anything else. You can sell straight from the off once your brand's approved. You know what I mean? You do need a trademark to go on there, to be fair, which is totally right. Yeah, you can start straight away.
I know what a trademark is, but talk to, how'd you get a trademark?
Yeah, it's something like I said, something I did straight away with Bear Bar, and it's just basically just you go and scroll into just Google it. Just go to a government website, and then there's like a portal that you can log into, select your sort of category of what type of business you are, and then obviously you can trademark the actual name of your company, or the artwork, the logo. You can trademark that as well, or
is
even
that free?
Packaging. So it depends what you want to do. I think no, it's not, unfortunately, Jason. That would probably eat up How much did it cost? Might have been about 300 quid. Might have been about 300 quid. So
our £500 budget.
But I mean, yeah. Trademark 300.
Are we going to risk it and maybe not trademark for a bit, but then we can't sell on TikTok shops, no?
Yeah, true. I mean, if we could, I'd always do that first, and then. But obviously, if we can't, then you can't. So, yeah, we probably have to. I don't know. I'll probably just try and find an extra 300 quid and just get that done and not touch the other.
You're
budget,
breaking the rules.
Come on, there's always a bloody few hundred quid knocking out somewhere, isn't there?
It'll be 300 quid out of your pocket, mate.
But, we'll reflect that in the shares, Jason.
All right. So TikTok shop.
Yeah. So, but no, there's other places like Etsy and stuff like that, and maybe Etsy or something. But or you could just bite the bullet and pay £30 a month right from the off. Potentially going up to 50, 60 quid a month with some apps. On Shopify, you could probably go there. You don't need a trademark for that. So whichever you find.
So I
best,
suppose
really.
what we're saying is pick a platform that's as simple as possible to start with, and just see how you get on with that. What about like Instagram and I know Facebook shops is a thing. What about Instagram? Is it like do they do Instagram shops now?
Yeah, Instagram shops. Yeah, without a doubt. You can buy stuff on there, but it's directly takes you to your Shopify website.
Right. It's not an actual platform. Right.
Or any other website. Any website that you get. No, it's not an actual marketplace. Like TikTok, Amazon marketplaces, Shopify marketplace, eBay marketplace. But yeah, so that's just helps to let people know what you do, and then it takes you to your website.
Yeah. So we've got our toothpaste brand. We've got it on some form of whether it's TikTok shops or whatever. We found an extra 300 quid. We brought the rules there. And then in terms of like advertising, would you say like, something like TikTok is probably one of the best in terms of like a cost per conversion or?
Yeah, definitely. I think video advertisement, without a shadow of a doubt, is the thing. You know what I mean? I think gone are the days to find really efficient image advertisements. Image for your, for mobile feeds on Instagram and Facebook, for example. And I think you also get people are just wise to that shit now. So you get like, you can get people just reacting badly because they don't want to see advertisements on the street on the newsfeed. So it can create some negativity as well. So I think the absolute future is video ads without a shadow of a doubt until something else comes along to supersede that. So I think some really short, snappy, get someone with nice teeth, obviously, to run some 15-second to 30-second lovely little video ads, probably about 4 or 5 of them, if we can, different variations, and then test out which ones work and which ones don't.
Yeah. Interesting. And a note on that, and I don't know if you would agree with me, but I've seen some adverts which basically look like they look really unpolished, but they're a vertical view, and it looks like someone naturally just doing, I found this product, blah, blah, and I've seen brands using those, and they look like they work sometimes. Again, I guess you've just got to split test it. So you might spend a load of money on a real professional video, and the really informal one might work better. Would that be fair to say?
Oh, 110%. I think if like the least budget one, they will have some aspect about it that makes it work above the polished one. And I think that probably comes down to the very short window to sell something and capture someone's attention. There is sort of a story throughout that 15 seconds and some points that you need to hit at the right times to push the right buttons to make people watch to the end and then buy. So I think this, if that aspect is right, I don't think no matter what it looks like, that'll always perform better. rather than the polished one that maybe doesn't hit the notes at the right time, without a shadow of a doubt. And I think that is a true skill,
Right.
and not everyone can do, I think.
Okay. So right. So the key underpin, like the how can I say this? Like there's many different ways you can do it, but the core principles are the most important things to hit
Mm.
in that window that you're talking about.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, definitely. I think the initial point either needs to be something shocking, like it needs to be either something that's said that might be controversial, something that, for example, everyone does. Like we've got a decent ad that does quite well. You know what I mean? It's one of our best performing ads so far, and it's literally someone squeezing horrible green shower gel in the hand, and it goes, "Are you showering like this?" So it's
Pain
instantly
point.
as soon as the advert starts, it's asking you a question. Yeah, like straight away, and then it's like, okay, someone might watch a few more seconds just to find out what's going on here. And I think you can do that in many different ways, where it's something physically shocking in the screen, like maybe nothing said, but what someone's actually doing when they first pick up the camera, that can have just as much effect as words can, you know what I mean? So I think it's, there's lots of ways to do it, but I think there is a set structure.
Interesting. Yeah. And like, yeah, I'm seeing like a trend actually at the moment in like really kind of like sensory stuff. Like it's almost like because you're behind this screen and we've got like there's no realness to it. I'm seeing like you say, like big squeezy something over, or like something that looks like really like I guess like sensual, not sensual. That's not the word, but like where like it's almost like onomatopoeias, like the sound of words is like what it is. I'm trying to like make a weird point
Yes,
here,
I know what you mean.
but like it's almost like we're so lacking in like real things. So, something that comes through that like attack, like just like stimulates like your visual system. Oh, what the fuck is that? Both emotional and like a visceral response to it is probably going to help as well. Like I see like weird stuff that's almost like ASMR.
Yeah, no, I know exactly.
Like where they're like, I think I've even seen
Yeah.
it with soap where they're like chopping through it.
Yeah, when they're cutting it on like a
And I'm
chopping board
like,
or something like
that
that, and it
looks
makes
dead
really
nice
nice
for some
sound
reason.
actually. Yeah.
What's all that about?
Yeah, dead tasty.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's it is strange, and it's something that I've not quite got. And to be fair, I think it's just a little bit of a cop out.
Okay.
I think everyone's been doing it for a couple of years now, and it's just a little bit like, yeah. So, but it's an interesting form of content. Bear Bar's currently going through this period where we don't really know what we're doing. So this is like, I'm trying to get my head around about what our next direction is. Okay, so like we've got competitors popping up left, right, and centre as you'd expect. But also long-standing competitors as well. And there's a certain way that these companies are bringing the product to market, and it's kind of a way that we're still doing now. You know what I mean? In talking about, are you still using shower gel and stuff like that? So I'm trying to think, again, totally outside the box and which is difficult at times because you're in the box all the time. But what is going to make us different from an advertisement point of view to other companies in this arena of soap? And I think I'm starting to work out what that is. And we referenced Liquid Death earlier on, and I'm not saying Bear Bar is going to become the new Liquid Death and try and recreate their content and stuff, but I certainly think that is an avenue that we can look down and pull influence, draw influence from, and because it's something that is now trending and working. I've always when I started Bear Bar, I wanted to be the way the packaging is designed. It's fun, it's colourful, it's fucking bright, it's out there, and I don't like to think it is boring because the male grooming industry is fucking boring. You've got companies like Man Cave out there, Bulldog, and from the packaging right through to the website, right through to the brand messaging, it's just fucking boring. And it's like, this product is so much fun. It can be presented in a way similar to Liquid Death, and the adverts. I need to create a new concept of advert, and I'm starting to work. Just started speaking to a company in Bristol, who are kind of like fucking punk rock and roll of advertisers in terms of video creation. So they've got a load of case studies of the work that they've already done, and basically it's surrounded about humour, and it's about following a main character and the character of your brand. So that is an actor, and basically the more videos we produce, it kind of follows that person's story, and that person is the brand, and it's ironical, it's dry sense of humour, it's quick, it's witty, it's fucking hilarious. And they're doing that with companies and making videos go viral with really boring concepts. Like there's a company called Air Landline, which basically you can have a landline phone number instead of your mobile phone number. So if you've got a business, instead of your mobile phone number on there, which looks a little bit unprofessional, you can get a landline number. Really boring concept for business. But this guy has used his company in Bristol, and they have created the most fucking hilarious adverts that get thousands of likes on the videos, amazing interaction with customers, like people in the comments who are not even buying the product, and they're saying, this is the best fucking advert, I've watched it time and time again. And it's like, when people are watching don't feel like they're watching an advert, that's the sweet spot. Like that is just like, and what's cool is, what's exciting for me about working with guys is the fact that that's not a product that everyone can buy, because not everyone's a fucking business owner and they're commenting on this thing. So if we can harness their skills with a product that everybody can buy, we might achieve something great. I'm not saying it's going to be amazing, but we've got to try these things, and I've had a few meetings with them and I trust them. So we're going to see how that goes, and that puts us in a different area. That goes from the competitors that are currently are, the handful of big competitors that we have, they're not currently doing that. We're going in this direction. We're leaving them behind and leave them to do the same style advertising that they're fucking competing with each other. And we'll go off and do something else. And that hopefully people enjoy watching, and it'll work for us. But I think that Liquid Death thing, having impactful, often outrageous advertisement, funny advertisement, you've got to be in that arena now to properly sell something to a high, to really affect people, because people are watching stuff all the fucking time. There's so much content out there, but you've got to create something that leaves an impact on people. And that's the only way, that's the way advertising's got to go. And it is going. Unfortunately. But not everyone can do that. Not everyone can do that. And that's why it's going to be exciting, because not every company can have the creative skills and all the rest of it to do that at a high level. But it depends who you work with, of course, you know what I mean? So it's an interesting one. But I suppose you can still, boring advertisements will still work. You'll still sell stuff. But to achieve...
Yeah, you want to push it through to that next level.
Up there, I think it needs to be something special.
Yeah. What's motivating you?
That's a good question. Is that I think hand on heart, what it is pride. Pride motivates me not every single day, because some days I'm demotivated. You know what I mean? I have my off days, man, just like anyone else. Where you're completely devoid of motivation. But the ongoing theme throughout all this for me is just pride. Like, I want to create something that I'm proud of. You know what I mean? That I'm happy to go like, yes, this is my company, and I've done it. I've built it. And if anyone's like thinking of starting a business, I think pride and passion needs to be a big player. Because there's going to be many years when you're not making any money. You know what I mean? And if money motivates you, you ain't going to have that business for long. Unless you've got an unbelievable idea that no one else can achieve or have access to.
Yeah.
And that is less than 0.01% of business ideas. So without a doubt, fucking pride. I want to be proud of what I've done and proud of achievements. Money does not come into it whatsoever. You know what I mean? I'm just happy. I've got my old Mercedes Vito van out there. You know what I mean? It's even its fucking window won't fucking wind down. You know what I mean? I go around in shorts, t-shirts, and bloody hoodies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm don't need it or want that. But in terms of in here, that's what, like, definitely, it sounds cheesy, but that's what really matters to me, without a shadow of a doubt.
Do you feel proud now?
I don't I don't think so. I think it's again, it's that kind of self-critical, self-conscious mentality that I struggle with, and I've always struggled with giving myself credit. You know what I mean? And I do struggle with listening to compliments and how to react to when someone says a compliment. I still can't do it. I'm probably going to be one of those people that's never going to be satisfied. I just think that's just the way it's going to be. But I suppose that leads on to make me drive more. But I suppose that's what.
Yeah, it's that.
I totally. I mean, I feel content now. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's good though, man.
Not 1,000%. I'm not where I want to be. You know, I want.
Like, like getting that balance between being proud of what you've already achieved, but being excited, you know, to push forward with your goal. Like, there's always going to be a balancing act, and you're always going to teeter between the two. And it's like the whole self-love versus self-improvement. Like, am I already enough? Or do I need to improve myself further? Do you know what I mean? Like, so there's always these two things pushing and pulling against each other. And, you know, I think it's just not to go too far in one camp. And I think you can be seasonal with it, you know, like off season and on season. So like you can have like go, like let's grow, like, you know, new push, you know, new branding, whatever it may be. But then you might go, okay, well now I'm going to take my foot off the gas. Maybe I'm going to go and be a beach bum with my laptop for 3 weeks or whatever in Cambodia. Clear where I want to go, isn't it? But yeah, I think with all things in life, you know, like I've got big into my training now, like this High Rocks thing, and it's like I've been training pretty hard for like 6 months, and I'm having to look at, okay, is there gonna be you know, should I have like a little off season at some point just to like slow down a bit? But it's addictive. Do you know what I mean? Like. I struggle the days when I'm not at the gym. You know, when I wake up and I'm like, I'm not working out.
Yeah.
And
I know you mean.
these things are connected.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great point. That I think, you know, I'm not being funny, Jason, but they'd be fucking flying cars. We'd probably be on Mars by now if every day was a motivational day.
Yeah.
The whole human race, I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's like, God, you know, I think it's like we're not fucking machines and we're not robots, you know what I mean? And we've got emotions, and thank God we've got different spectrums of emotion as well, because I think that makes life far more fascinating. And when you do have your good days, how much you appreciate your good days compared to your bad days, you know? And that's just a fucking beauty of life, man. That's just a beauty of the individual. That's a beauty of your personal life. And I think it's a great thing. You know, as long as you can do things that can help in the not so good times and stuff like that, help you get more motivated and stuff like that, then all for the better. But yeah, I think life would be boring if it was all go 24/7. Achieve, do this, do that,
and you can't run that fuel forever because it'll just burn you out.
Yeah, you go insane. You will go insane.
All right, man. Well, I think that about probably wraps us up. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. It's good to see you again. I hope maybe next time we can do it in person, because I don't think I've seen you since 2007. Is that right?
Yeah, I think last time I saw, like it's something like that. I think last time I saw you, I think I saw Kai Wilson stage diving or something like that.
Really?
You know what I mean? Probably last time was a gig or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
A long time. But like, mate, like,
yeah, man. But no, it's been a pleasure, Jason.
awesome.
I've really enjoyed this.
I'm just like, I'm proper inspired by your journey and stuff, and it's been nice to have sort of been there like a little bit at the start and spoke to you about, before you got started. And I'm I'm fully behind you. I'm fully behind the brand, and I do think you'll be doing big things. So yeah, thank you. Before you go, where should I direct people if they want to check out Bear Bar or any of your stuff?
Yeah, so obviously, best place is always direct to our website, to be fair. Not that you have to buy something straight away, but it just gives you an idea of what we're all about, So yeah, so www.bear-bar.co.uk. So that's BARE-BAR.co.uk. That's the best place on there. It's got our brand story on there. You can look into that, look into the ingredients, benefits, and then, if you want to buy a cheeky soap bar, you can do.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure, Jason, mate. I really appreciate it. And good luck with the rest of it, man. I'm sure it's going to go from strength to strength.
Appreciate your time, man. See you, mate.
Nice one. Take it easy.